Hello, welcome to the first annual holiday one pot meal collab. Yay! I am Leona Dooley and this is Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme. And today we are taking part in a one pot meal collaboration. And in this collaboration, it's being hosted by myself, Leona Dooley, and co-hosted by Stephanie from Creatively Miss Me Stephanie. She's a wonderful cook and a wonderful person. So you're going to want to check everybody out. Now, for those of you who are not necessarily participating, but you're just kind of getting in to see what we're doing, let me tell you what it's all about. We are using one pot. That means it can be a crock pot, it can be a sheet pan, it can be a Dutch oven, it can be whatever it is that you want to cook it in, but you're using only one pot. And the reason why we're doing that is because for the holiday, we want as many one pot meals as we can possibly put together because we got things to do. We have people coming, we've got shopping to do, we've got decorating to do, all kinds of things. So we are coming together and sharing with you our best. Now, sometimes when your guests are there, you're going to want to prepare dinner rather than go out. And what better way to be able to handle it is to be able to put a one pot meal together that will serve everyone. And that even if you have to do two pots because you have an extremely large group, it's still only two pots. It saves on the cleanup, it saves in the prepping, because a lot of one pot meals you can do in advance. Put it in the freezer and have it ready to go the day of cooking. So today I'm sharing with you one of my slamming go-to holiday one pot meals. So stay right there. And one of the things that I usually do before I start cooking is that I make a sink full of soapy water. Because you know, if you wash as you go, then you're not going to have much to clean up in the end. So my water is set for anything that I need to do today. I've got nice soapy water ready to go. Today I'm going to use a crock pot liner. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But you know, at this time of the year, when you can find them, grab a couple. You get about, let's see, this one is actually by crock pot, and you get 6 of them. And the liners fit 3 to 7 quart slow cookers, and they're BPA free. So I'm going to use that because I want to be able to clean up very quickly. So once I finish with our dish today, we're going to have a nice, quick, easy cleanup. So let's do that. Let's put all these back in. I have 5 to use, and you don't reuse them, so just so you know. But once you use it, throw it away. That's a good thing. All right, so the first one's going in. Today, you're getting one of my specialty recipes that I love to share. And I tell you what, when I have a large group coming, this is one of the first things I put together because it has great vegetables, it's got lots of meat in it, and you know what, technically you probably could do it without the meat. If you're a meat, if you're a vegan, you could do it that way. But this is one of those dishes that historically it involved meat, and so I've kept it that way. The only thing I've done is to vary the types of meat that I put in. So we're going to talk a little bit about the history while we're putting all of this together. Have the crock pot here, and we're getting ready to start adding things in. And I want you to see carefully what it is. Of course, you know the recipe is going to be in the description box below. So let's first start with, I'm going to put in about a cup. This is 1 cup, and I'm going to put in 1 cup of green peppers. And I'm going to add in a cup of onions. This way I can do it, and I can kind of give you a general description as to what it's going to take. It's going to take about a cup of celery, and that's because I'm using a 7-quart. It's really 6.5. I'm just rounding up to 7. So about a cup of celery. Now, I'm going to add in a 48-ounce can of tomatoes, crushed tomatoes. And these crushed tomatoes I had opened and took just a tiny bit out. So I froze it. You can hear my microwave going, so I'm trying to get it out. And it's still going to be a little bit frozen, which is okay. But we're going to get it out because you know it's going to be cooking for a very long time. So that's one. And the other one I have to get out of the microwave. So let me get that out. I can put the extra cut vegetables off to the side. And I've got homemade chicken broth that I'm going to be using. You may use whatever you have. Here's the rest of those tomatoes. So all of that's going to cook down over time, and that's going to be so good. All right, so you got onions, green peppers, celery, and tomatoes. Great combination, you know, right there. You know that's going to be good. Okay, get rid of that. I'm going to start, you know, I have a lot of meat, and Brunswick stew contains quite a bit of meat. Now, back in the day, and in fact, some people still do, they add deer meat or whatever it is that they've caught, whatever their fresh catch is. Now, I don't do deer meat, but I'm going to put in, that's 2 handfuls. So that's about 2 cups of beef cubed that I'm putting in, about half of what I cut up. And I'm going to do the same for the chicken. 1, just as big as you can get. And if you have a larger family, you know, you can always put more. And if you look at it, once everything starts to cook down, and remember this is a stew, so it's supposed to be very meaty, very everything. So we've got the startings of our stew. So I'm going to put that in. I need to thaw the chicken broth. So I'm going to do that. Take 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm working on that broth, but in the meantime, I'm going to add in, this is a 10-ounce bag of mixed vegetables. And these mixed vegetables have lima beans, green beans, peas, carrots, corn. All the things that would come in at harvest. And you do want to make sure that you have your limas, your corn, all of those items in your mix. So I'm putting those in, and my broth is not quite thawed yet, but I'm going to put in what I have. I'm going to put this back in the microwave and get it ready. I put in a few potato cubes, and just because potato is going to help to add to the substance in the soup, and this is more of a stew rather than a soup, I guess I should really say the stew. And what I like to use, so that I don't have to cut the potatoes, I use what's called simply potatoes that are diced, and they have a few onions in them. So we're going to be using that as well. So let me get this back in the microwave. Now my friend and I were talking yesterday about Brunswick stew. And you know what we figured out is that from each state there is a little different twist to it, and sometimes they even change the name. So in Kentucky, we call it burgoo. And in Virginia, they call it Brunswick stew. I've got my teaspoon here, and I'm going to add in about a teaspoon of black pepper. So we got a lot to season. I'm going to add in a half teaspoon to almost a teaspoon of salt because the tomatoes are in there. And if you need to add, you can always add more, but you can't take away. So we got some salt to get us started. We're going to need some garlic powder. And you know, we're going to want some onion powder. So I'm putting in a teaspoon of garlic powder. That's where I'm starting. I think I'm going to do 2. And I want a little onion powder because onion powder just adds a little extra flavor. And we need a little extra. I'm putting in about a teaspoon of onion powder. Okay, I'm also going to put in, you know, my favorite, some pepperoncino. Also a part of the harvest, so just a pinch. Okay. Now at this point, we're going to let this start to cook because we want to see how those flavors are going to start to marry together. And I'm adding in the rest of that first container of broth. That was 4 cups. I have another one that I'm working on getting it thawed as well. And we're going to put that in as well. So I have, for now, I'm going to start it on medium. And then, well, I think I'll start it on high just to get everything going. And then I'll cut it down, maybe for about an hour on high, and then bring it down. Now, if you're not able to be home, put it on low and let it go. But I've got the option of being able to start it that way. So that's what I'm going to do. But like I said, under normal circumstances, I'd put it on low and let this baby cook. So, and it needs to go for at least 8 to 10 hours. So let's get this Brunswick stew going. I already know you're going to want some cornbread on the plate next to this Brunswick stew. I just absolutely want all of you right here in the kitchen so you could smell this pot of deliciousness. It's wonderful. So guys, I'm going to focus. I'm going to get the bowls made, and then I'm going to taste it. And I want it screaming hot, and we're just going to let it stir. It has been going for at least 11 hours. So I know that everything in here is not only well cooked, but the seasonings have had a chance to go through it, and you're going to love it. So just imagine having this on the table for your family this holiday. You'll want to do that. This holiday one pot meal collaboration is going to be a winner. And you know what? I hope you will try each and every recipe that comes about, And don't forget that the recipes are going to be listed in the description boxes under the videos. Now, please be sure to show each of the creators some love by making sure that if you're not a family member, then make sure that you subscribe. And also give them a thumbs up because they've taken the time to do this and to share with you. So I hope you have an absolutely blessed holiday week, and I'll see you soon right here in the kitchen of Ebony, Ivy, and Thyme, where we work hard and we love God and we know that everything else is just gravy. And before I forget it, thank you, Stephanie, for co-hosting this collaboration. God bless you all, and I'll see you soon.